The importance of managing resources. Resources are managed by businesses through careful planning, organizing and controlling of assets such as labor, finance, and materials to achieve organizational objectives. It is important to manage resources as they are limited and must be used efficiently to minimize waste and maximize productivity and profit. Human resources. Human resources are the employees of a business who contribute their skills, knowledge, and labor towards achieving business goals. Human resources involve staff requirements for efficiency, decisions about wages and salaries, choices between full-time and part-time employment, the recruitment process, and training requirements including the cost of training. Staff requirements. Staff are required for efficiency as having the correct number of suitably skilled employees ensures that work is completed productively without unnecessary delays or costs. Different businesses will have different staff requirements to be efficient as their size, objectives, industry, and level of technology will vary. For example, a small local cafe may require fewer staff with basic customer service skills, whereas a large manufacturing firm may require specialized engineers and production managers. Staff requirements need to be managed as overstaffing increases costs while understaffing can reduce output and customer satisfaction. Wages and salaries. Wages are payments made to employees based on the number of hours worked, whereas salaries are fixed annual payments usually divided into monthly installments. Wages are used for hourly paid employees such as shop assistants or factory workers, whereas salaries are used for professional, managerial, or administrative employees. These are important to manage as labor costs are a major expense and directly affect profitability and staff motivation. Full-time and part-time work. Full-time work is employment where an individual works the standard 35 hours each week, or more, whereas part-time work is employment where fewer hours are worked. A business may need full-time workers if it requires consistent staffing levels and long-term commitment. However, they may need part-time workers if demand is seasonal or fluctuates during certain times of the day or year. Full-time and part-time work is important to manage as it helps balance labor costs with operational needs. Recruitment and training. The recruitment process is the procedure a business follows to attract, select, and appoint suitable candidates for job roles. This is important to manage as hiring the wrong employee can lead to increased costs, low productivity, and high staff turnover. Training requirements are the skills and knowledge employees need to perform their roles effectively. This is important to manage as well-trained staff are more productive, motivated, and less likely to make costly mistakes. The cost of training for in-house training is generally lower and tailored to the specific needs of the business, but it can take up management time and may lack specialist expertise. The cost of training for external training is often higher and may require travel and time away from work. However, it provides access to specialist knowledge, recognized qualifications, and experienced trainers. Physical resources. Physical resources are the tangible assets a business uses to produce goods or deliver services. Physical resources includes decisions about whether to rent or buy premises, the equipment and required IT hardware and software, and suppliers along with the cost of equipment. Premises. A business would require a premises as it needs a physical location where operations, production, or customer service can take place. They may rent a premises as it requires less initial capital, offers flexibility to relocate, and reduces responsibility for maintenance. However, renting can lead to rising rental costs and provides no long-term asset ownership. They may buy a premises instead as it gives long-term security, potential increase in property value, and full control over modifications. However, buying requires significant upfront investment and ongoing maintenance costs. It is important to manage this as premises costs are high and can significantly affect cash flow and profitability. Equipment and vehicles. A business requires equipment as tools and machinery are necessary to produce goods or provide services efficiently. This is important to be managed as outdated or poorly maintained equipment can reduce productivity and increase repair costs. A business may also require a vehicle as it may need to transport goods, visit clients, or provide mobile services. This is important to be managed as vehicles involve fuel, insurance, and maintenance costs that must be controlled. IT hardware and software. IT hardware is the physical technology such as computers and servers, and IT software is the programs and applications that allow the hardware to perform tasks. A business would require these as they improve communication, data management, and operational efficiency. This is important to manage as technology can be expensive and quickly become outdated. Suppliers and the cost of equipment. Suppliers are businesses that provide the materials, products, or services another business needs to operate. The cost of equipment is the amount paid to purchase or lease the tools and machinery required for production. It is important to manage suppliers and the cost of equipment, as unreliable suppliers or high equipment costs can reduce profit margins and disrupt operations. Financial resources. Financial resources are the funds a business uses to start up and continue operating. Financial resources include sources of finance and both startup and running costs. Sources of finance. The sources of finance are personal savings, bank loans, overdrafts, share capital, retained profit, and government grants. Personal savings are money invested by the owner into the business. The benefit is that there is no interest to repay, but the drawback is that the owner risks losing personal funds. A bank loan is borrowed money that must be repaid with interest over an agreed period. The benefit is that it provides a large lump sum, but the drawback is the obligation to repay with interest regardless of business performance. An overdraft is permission from a bank to spend more money than is available in the account. The benefit is short-term flexibility, but the drawback is high interest charges. Share capital is money raised by selling shares in the business. The benefit is that there is no need to repay the funds, but the drawback is loss of some ownership and control. Retained profit is profit kept back in the business rather than distributed to owners. The benefit is that it does not create debt, but the drawback is that it may limit dividends to shareholders. Government grants are funds provided by the government that do not need to be repaid. The benefit is that they reduce financial pressure, but the drawback is that they are often limited and have strict conditions. It is important to manage the sources of finance, as poor financial decisions can lead to cash flow problems or excessive debt. Startup and running costs. Startup costs are the one-off expenses required to establish a business, such as equipment purchases and registration fees. These are important to manage, as underestimating them can result in insufficient funds at the beginning of trading. Whereas running costs are the ongoing expenses needed to keep the business operating, such as wages, rent, and utilities. These are important to manage, as high running costs can reduce profit and threaten the long-term survival of the business. Thank you for watching this video on the importance of managing resources. I'll see you in the next one.